So I would like to welcome Dagna and Anna in a conversation on the forgotten population and the importance of nature for regular migrants. Could you please start from introducing yourself?
Thank you, Eliza. I'm so honored and grateful having with us Anna Baran, whom I see in my eyes as an expert and professional in mental health. And me, myself, I was involved in forest immersions in Germany, working with refugees and migrants. And the title of a workshop, which is Forgotten Population, is on purpose. Because sometimes we are surrounded by people, we are their people, or they are around us, that they might be a little bit different conditions, but no one is noticing that because somehow they're on the edge of society in a way, because basically everything is all right or everything is accessible. I just have one small question before Anya will give you a floor. I'm very curious here and ask everyone of you if you can find reaction button, like, you know, where the heart is. And I'm wondering how many people with migrant experience are with us now at this moment. If you could just click whatever icon, the person with a migrant experience, if you could show us. So we have some. Thank you so much. And also with the same, I would like to ask, who of you is a forest therapy guide or environmental ecologist working in pedagogy? Also, please, I would like to see how many of those people we have here. Whoa, that was impressive. That's a beautiful community of those people. Thank you. Why I'm saying that, thank you, because I guess what basically surprised me bringing to forest people from different continents to the forest immersions. One of the things that was really interesting and still is, it's a space which is called liminal space, which is a space in between. And in just sequence, like workshop before, we were describing the sequence of the walk. And of course, when we enter, after the senses, we enter to this deeper connection, a meaningful connection with nature phase, then we are stepping into this in-between space. And those who are migrants, you can maybe agree with me, or are you agreeing with me, or that it is a little bit feeling being in this liminal space every day. So it's very interesting how this process and being in a liminal space, like a space that we really well know, and to find grounded environment and connect to ourselves, how meaningful it was for the populations we were working here in Berlin, it's beyond the words. Maybe that's one thing that really impressed me. And Anna, please, a word to you. Who are you? And what brings you? What knowledge, wisdom brings you? How does it resonate with you? Anna, please.
Yes, my name is Anna Baran. I'm a psychiatrist and also researcher. And it's very interesting with migration because my family is very migratory. my mother is migrated when she was little with her mother to Poland from near Vilnius. They were living, so they migrated actually to Poland. They were had to do it. So then this part of my family has migrated then to also to Canada. They were long time in Argentina, and also now my cousins migrate also in France and Spain. So I have quite good experience with migration. I migrated from Poland 2004, but actually I am not feeling so much a migrant because 2004 I got the status of like Swede, so I have two nationalities. So it's a bit like introduction, and then forest, another topic of our conversation and on of this uh, uh, symposium seminar is also very close to me. I remember that when I go to work and I go through the forest, I find it very relaxing. And actually, I have been working as a psychiatrist for more than 30 years, and most of the time I could go to my work, and from my work, it was always yeah, forest, and so like trees. So so it's very nice. Yeah, 10 years I've been working in Nyköping near Stockholm, and then there is a national park, so it was like on my way to work. So it was always very relaxing.
Thank you. And my question now is about this migrant thingy and this liminal space and this beingness in different countries, because very often it's like what I notice in my walks with people, first that they were from different continents, and then this awareness thing that okay, this is this season, the winter, you have to make this clothes, blah blah. But then well, I wanted to say, I forgot. You see, this is what's happening. So I am disconnected somehow sometimes, or my mind is here and there. I'm just wondering, are there any scientific studies? What is the condition of migrants? Are they more fragile, less fragile? What's happening there? Why do they need forests? Do they need forests? Did you find anything about that?
Yes, I will be showing my presentation about this studies, but yeah, it depends, I can say, because the way we feel forest is different. It depends on our experiences. So it's my main thing, yes. We can have positive association with the forest or negative association with the forest. So yeah, it will of course have some influence on how we feel about the forest, being in the forest. For me, it was always very positive experience. You were asking about this people who migrate, and actually there are studies that they are healthier than the other people who are in the country, yes, in inhabitants. Yeah, why? It's probably because these people who are quite strong, they have strength to migrate. So not everyone can do it. So yeah, there are a lot of studies that show actually that it was mostly in United States. These kind of studies were done. So. And different aspects in somatic health and in mental health also. So actually, second migration, they are more fragile. They are more acculturation happen when they stay longer in the country, especially while, like in Sweden, you have this politics, but it's not good for them to stay together in one place for migrants. And actually, studies show opposite. It's very good for migrants to be together because they are supporting themselves and they create culture. It's like you have in United States, you have like little China, little yeah, Poland, or so actually this create strength of this migrant population.
If I
So
can
this integration is a tricky thing.
That's why, I mean, because this was exactly what I noticed in planning the walks. And it's like, so because we had purely migrants communities, then we had to plan before time in a bakery or a cafe before the walk, because the social aspect was super important. And then having the walk, like which took around half an hour to get to the first station, it was very like talkative and interested, because it seems that this connection between the parent is crucial, basically, very social and very needed, because maybe the sense of belonging really matters.
Yes, I can tell you a quite fascinating story about my meeting a patient who actually was a migrant. So it was a woman who had a very difficult time to learn Swedish. So it was not possible, in like usual courses. So we always had a translator when we are talking. But when somehow she make a very big progress. So I asked what happened. So she says, I've been going to these cafes where we can meet together with older people who from Sweden, who we can talk with them, and also we can talk with other people who are migrants from my country. And actually this cafe place it can be also forest. Yes, it can be a place of meeting, a place when you go walking, go for a walk. So
Thank you. And I'm very curious what you brought to us. Like you were mentioning a presentation. What's there?
okay, let's go. I will try to share screen. Yes. Okay. Yes. Can you see screen? Yes.
Yes, very well.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I will not talk much about what I am working with, yes, because right now I am mostly active with suicide prevention. So I am a psychiatrist, but my interest is suicide prevention and more precise education in suicide prevention. So here we are working with courses that address this difficult time. As you see, all these courses are actually also a project co-funded by the European Union. And we are now here at LIPSE Resilience Enhancement. It's courses we started to work 2019, but now it's 2025, and we start like third edition of these courses because we find it so important, especially when you are working in psychiatry, but also in many, many other professions. Okay, but here we go to the forest, and what association we have with forest is actually extremely important. So, for example, when we think here in this context in winter, is it cold or is it warm? Yeah, it's like a thing that is associated with climate, but also we can think like how we feel. Do we feel cold or do we feel more warm when we think about like this aura in winter? So it depends on how we feel actually. So for me, it's I associate it with warm, but for someone who has maybe outside there and have no clothes, it will be of course cold. So now also from Sweden, north of Sweden, or very nice landscape where you can see northern lights. And then also this existential question, worth or worthlessness, how we feel. Is it worth with forest or is it like worthless concept? Then also we can think about finding a way in a forest, but and we can think like positive, like an very positive emotion. But when we think about losing our way, or we cannot find a way somewhere where we want to go, then the emotions will be negative. And then, of course, it's another question. Do I feel alone when I am in a forest, or do I have a feeling of community, of harmony with nature? It's also a very important question because when I got this feeling of loneliness, it will not have maybe so positive influence when I can communicate, with this nature and forest. I will have different emotions. And also emotions is one thing, but then also, it's like biology of emotions, yes. So it's also like oxytocin, a hormone of well-being. It will be higher when I have a sense of community, but it will be lower, and I will not feel good when I have this feeling of loneliness. So that's why when we walk together with someone, then this feeling is more positive, of course. Next thing with nature and with forest is like nature teaches us a rhythm, flexibility. It's changing all the time, and somehow when we have tendency to be like rigid, we don't want things to change, but nature can teach us that changes are a part of our life, a part of nature. Yeah, so now, yeah, does forest can reduce biological stress? Yes, there are many studies actually that it's not only that we feel good, but also that it actually lowers our salivary cortisol. It calms our heart rate, and even it very good for women who are pregnant, as it decreases risk of preterm birth. It's also decrease blood pressure and yeah, parasympathetic dominance is when we feel calm. So when we are talking about this parasympathetic dominance, like it's very important to be in that calm state. Yes, then another interesting thing is that nature have their own microbes, and they can train in a way our immune system. This so-called biodiversity hypothesis proposes that contact with such biodiverse environment as forest enriches human microbiota and promotes immune regulation, tolerance, and lowering atopy risk. So like skin problems, and actually it reduces allergies. So it's very positive. Okay, wait, I must. So okay, so then when we go in the forest, we can also like feel different. Yeah, like scents, and then why we feel it? It's because it's monoterpene, isoprene. There are some substances that also help us to control, to lower our stress, improve our heart rate variability, have some anti-inflammatory action. So, and once again, it's something that is very positive for our health. Another model is like a summary. So these all these things that happen in the forest, like this microbial diversity, terpenes, these substances that we send, visual cues, this air that feels like cooler, cleaner than in the city. It reduces our hypothalamus pituitary axis activation, lowers our cortisol, stress hormone, shifted to parasympathetic mode, like calming mode, and lower inflammation that is often causes different problems in our body, and also enhance our immunity. So then how long should we be in the forest to get this positive action? It's for researchers says that it's about 120 minutes. Yeah, now going to migrants, yes, how can we use these green urban spaces? They are around cities. There were an interesting study that showed that actually first generation migrants, they have strong preferences to forests, large parks and lakes, and I can say I also feel that. So yeah, it's also like my personal experience. Then why should municipalities link migrant health policy to such, yeah, to forests and urban green spaces? Yeah, at the population level, more urban green spaces is associated actually with lower natural cause mortality in European cities, including, of course, Nordic context. Public health co-benefit if access and these barriers for migrants are reduced. Yeah, now we need also to mention some risks that are associated with forests. So as a researcher, I always try to balance both benefits and risks. So what are the risks? Yeah, some of us have maybe like problems with pollen allergy, like so it can be like a kind of respiratory symptoms, asthma, rhinitis, so an increase healthcare use because of pollens. So then we have another risk like ticks and tick-borne diseases. It's interesting, but yeah, when I was a child, we were not talking about it, but climate change is, yeah, it's much more a real problem actually now than earlier. So then once again we need to be like aware of these risks. Then some migrants can have negative association with forest, and we need also to remember that. There were interesting studies about forested rhododendron gap in America, and even also in Poland, Belarus. There were people that could be trapped for days in freezing conditions. So these people can also feel like forest is kind of traumatized experience for them. And then we, of course, we need to be very careful how to address this topic with them. Yeah, and once again, also people who migrate from Cambodia, Thailand, they can associate also forest with malaria. So it's also can be in their attitudes that forest is something that is dangerous. Even if they migrate, they take with them these attitudes. So it's important to remember that when we want to integrate them in a society. Another thing, yeah, forest can be like wildlife conflicts, also in some populations where this risk is very real to them. So even if for us living in Europe, it's quite abstract. But it's good to know because we have a lot of migrants from different countries, so it's important to like address these maybe threats or like one like maybe sometimes you are not aware of something, but you cannot go to the forest because you have that unaware threat or risk. So you do not have to really think about tiger when you go to forest in Europe, but then you can be afraid to go to the forest and you don't know why. But if you have experience from early childhood. Okay, so how we can mitigate this risk? Yeah, of course, we can consider how we can organize more this contact with nature, contact with forests. We can combine nature with skills, language practices, but I was talking about social support, that is like promise for actually well-being and integration. And also it's important to take to think about like urban forests that are open the year round and they are close to the cities, and it's exceptional spaces that we can use also for integration of immigrant population. So then what happened if someone is in the forest and is frightened, doesn't feel safe? It can use grounding techniques. And what is grounding? It's focusing on coping skills that redirect attention to the here and now. Yes, forest is a very good example of environment that help us to really have this sensation and breathe and also like be in touch with nature, and it actually with techniques can decrease acute stress and even dissociation. So if we are in a situation when a person feels this stress, we should know what to do to cope with the situation, to reestablish the sense of safety and control. So here is very nice technique, like hugging a tree. It's contact with nature. There are interesting studies that show that it can increase also oxytocin and well-being hormone. So when we are stressed, this technique can actually be very helpful. Climbing, like when kids are climbing tree, but also it's kind of sport that even adults can try, climbing tree. Or like walking, it's much more easy. In Sweden, there's like allemansrätten, a right of public access also to the forest. Everyone, residents and visitors, can roam most forests and countrysides, but only they don't disturb and don't destroy. So it's a right of Swedish citizens. And living in the forest, some people choose to live in the forest instead of living in urban surroundings because then they feel close to the nature. Yeah, thank you so much for that. Any questions?
Thank you so much. Thank you also for bringing this researcher point of view to our discussion, because being the passionate is one thing, but to have clear data and also pros and cons, I guess that gives a holistic understanding of the practice, but also the power of it. Then what I was thinking about the migrants, because we say the migrants, it's the state, but in fact the state is very dynamic state. So there are lots of studies saying that it's not a beingness, it's a process. So there are phases of arriving to the space. So we are very excited, or like there's something like kind of excitement, and then comes in the moment of before being integrated to the culture, this moment of culture shock. This moment, and studies also show that this culture shock of being in a completely new environment, we don't know the language, we don't recognize the tastes, and our families and relatives are far away from us. Then there is coming this feeling of feeling strange, different, which is called culture shock, which might be, I guess, and then for some people it's for one day, for others would be years, right? So it also depends how people cope with this moment of adaptation, integration to the culture, right? And then comes this integrity, and then we adopt things, and then we are feeling back, we are going on the surface. And also what I noticed in having people in this moment of I'm not really feeling going out. I also noticed that those people in that phase would not even think to go to the park, because the tendency would be to close doors, to isolate yourself, and just leave me alone in that moment. Does it resonate with yours? Like, do you have any comment to that?
Yes, actually, I think it much depends on your experience or life experience. I have a friend who loves traveling. She's traveling all the time. And what's interesting is that she has a little daughter. I remember like traveling with her a lot in different countries, and every time she came with this little daughter, like was 3 years old, she came to the hotel room, and she says, "Mama, we are home. We're at home." So for her, this experience of changing environments, it's normal. It's her home. So that's why I think, yeah, it's difficult to generalize because, of course, all these things you are talking about is like a part of some people have experience, but not for all. There are people also that feel at home, even if they are in a surrounding that is quite different than they used to be.
How would you call it? I'm just wondering if there is, for those people that there are, because even in terms of describing the identities, there is this coming term, I try to recall it, that there is identity of a person who feels emotion, like a nomad, that's a mobile identity, right?
Exactly.
Mm.
Yes, yes. It's very interesting. This nomad identity, as you say, it's even on a genetic level. I've read very interesting studies that people who were nomads, they have like many years ago, they had a gene that helped them to metabolize milk. Yeah, that's lactose. Yeah, in milk. And why it was so important for nomads? Because they were wandering many kilometers and long distances, and they had their cows and yeah, and other animals. So they were living on, they could survive thanks to the milk of these animals. So nomads had that specific gene that, yeah, probably was like survival strategy for them. So I think it can be also like you say, that it's this nomad identity that makes you feel at home, even if you are in different places.
When I was doing those walks here with people again from very different continents, and then I was asking what was the moment for them, the most powerful. They really loved this invitation of like being in a forest, find your room or find your space, and somehow arriving to the space and feeling of this belonging was for them significant. Somehow it gave them feeling of um, safety, even though they were in a wilderness, in a forest, and they were not in a room, not covered by the blanket. Just this connection to this feeling of belonging. Why belonging is so important? What is there? Why this feeling at home? What does it make to a person?
Yes, it's like this positive well-being compote or mix of different hormones. Yes, oxytocin increase when we feel a part of something, and we can feel a part of a group. We can feel a part of nature. We can feel a part of society, and then it will make our oxytocin increase. Then this increase of oxytocin create more changes in other hormones. For example, dopamine will increase, and dopamine is a reward hormone that makes also us to feel very good. Yeah, then we have also like endorphin, another hormone that actually can decrease our pain. So it's also one of the hormones that can create this feeling. So it's important to see that this problem is not only on like psychological level or society level, but also it's a biological level. And how this combination works depends how we feel actually.
Thank you so much for the story. I don't know even what to add else. I just maybe I can share one mistake I did, and later on I've learned during my walks. And again, it's coming to the community and belonging. So basically, people coming to the walks, I was saying them goodbye, and I didn't take care after the social networks. And then at the end, they really wanted to be together as such. So then we decided to connect them together so they can keep going this togetherness, which means that they had some meaningful experience, and then they could carry on with this feeling of being more than one person or just one family in a place. Is there anything else, Anna, you would add to the context of migration and nature, pluses, minuses?
Yeah, I think actually it's a challenge for us to like how to integrate this forest and nature more. For example, not only like in a society, but even when you work in mental health or healthcare profession, how you integrate that in this therapy. As we know, it's this positive potential, like having a cat or having a dog, also like walking in the forest or in the nature. It also creates these positive changes in our brain that help us to feel good and yeah, to function actually. Yeah.
Thank you. And I wonder if there are any questions from a community. Is there anything in the room? Any question, comment, or a story? There is a story of quietness and silence.
I think Dagna, there was actually, yeah,
There's-
like there's a comment from Elizabeth, yeah? Or is it your own positive experience in nature that led you to work with clients in nature too? Is it like, Elizabeth, is it a question to Anna or to Dagna or to both of them? Because they both work with clients in nature.
Yeah, sorry, thank you for that clarifying question. It's just Anna started her talk speaking about her own experiences of every workplace she went to. She was always enjoying the fact that she goes through the forest. So she experienced that benefit herself first. And I wondered if it was that experience that then led her to where she is today.
Yeah, thank you, Elizabeth, for clarifying. So I passed the question to Anna.
Yes, I think actually, yes, it is so that if we have a positive experience of something, then of course we are more open to share this experience with other people. And then also when I ask about how what are the strategy my clients or patients use to feel better, many of them says that they are going for a walk. It's very, very popular strategy to cope with stress. It's so, and going for a walk, they sometimes say that to go, to a park or to a forest or just for a walk, it's enough. So yeah, but of course our positive experience will, help us also to use this experience in our work. Yeah.
I would have a wish that every institution which would introduce these little parks or pathways through the forest, so we could have just as it is, not really designing and putting special effort to do that. That would be a magic world. That's it from my side. I think thank you so much, Anna, for our meeting. It was a very deep dive into the biological also understanding of the benefits and also kind of challenges while having practices in nature. From my side, I can only encourage everyone to visit our website of accessibleforest.com on the Monday, because also in the ebook we describe those situations and those practices, and more stories are there. And saying that, thank you, and I pass the floor to Eliza.
Yeah, thank you, Dagna. Thank you, Anna. Like for me, it was a pleasure. And then I would say that personally, I'm very much interested in how human brain works. And then when Anna, you were mentioning like different hormones and oxytocin and dopamine was somehow like resonating in me. And then Dagna, when you were saying about the feeling of belonging, then somehow it also associated in my mind with the research that Brené Brown was doing. And then she mentions that what we need, as human beings to feel well, we need to feel that we are safe and that we matter. And this very much comes in this feeling of belonging, because not only physically safe, even if we mention here like migrants, but also emotionally safe. that I'm seen in the way I am, and then I'm seen in like, yeah, how I behave. And I think like in this like population of migrants, this feeling of being seen, because like I think as a migrant quite often are different, but the majority of the population, you are a bit different because of the culture. Dagna, you mentioned like culture shock, but also because of the language. So like, yeah, this being seen emotionally and like creating a community when you belong, this is very important. So I think this is something I can add from my personal like perspective, because I also work a lot with the foreigners, like who are migrants in Poland on different levels.